The very latest on a protest in Fremont that stopped traffic. We'll have an exclusive report from reporter Madison Wilbur, who broke the story.
Plus, a suspect was found for committing arson at the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Library, opening it up soon.
And the congressional elections for California is heating up with a possible recounting of votes. Don't go.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communications at San Jose State University, your source for what's happening with a fresh perspective on today's issues. You're watching Update News.
Welcome to Update News. I'm Unati Zibi.
And I'm Kyle Tran. Pro-Palestinian protests occurred all over the Bay on Monday, including stopping traffic on the Golden Gate Bridge and on I-80 in Oakland. There was also a Monday evening protest in Fremont. Our Madison Wilbur was there and reports things got intense.
Pro-Palestinian protesters and police wrestled over a fence in front of the Tesla factory in Fremont last Monday evening. Police were in riot gear when protesters arrived and shot pepper spray at the group once they tore down the fence. The protest started at the BART station on Warm Springs Road and Pavilion Way and then marched towards the Tesla factory, causing traffic congestion. The marchers were then met by a wall of officers, preventing the protesters from marching onto private property. Update News reached out for comment from both Tesla and Fremont police, but neither responded. Protesters in Fremont wanted to stop Tesla production due to alleged unfair labor practices, discrimination, and support to Israel. Elon Musk visited Israel last November after receiving criticism after allegedly endorsing an anti-Semitic social media post. Protesters feel as though the government is not listening to them and that these protests are necessary despite the fear surrounding facing the police.
For the last 6 months, we've spoken to our representatives, nothing. We've done non-disruptive protests, nothing. We're desperate. We're desperate people.
It made me feel grateful for the people that were standing alongside me and for their courage.
After an eventful evening, protesters are finally headed home. They claim they did what they came here to do. In Fremont, this is Madison Wilbur, Update News.
A San Jose State student has been arrested and charged with arson following 2 trash fires set inside the campus library. Reporter Adrian Pareda has more details regarding this recent incident.
Trash can fires inside occupied bathrooms of the Dr. Martin Luther King Library sparked an investigation that led to the arrest of SJSU's very own student. Authorities identify him as 19-year-old Amug Upada, a college sophomore.
So on 2 separate occasions, you had fires started in restrooms in the MLK library, one on the 7th floor and one on the 8th floor. Occurred on March 31st and April 8th. We conducted an investigation. Fire marshal assisted in that investigation. Eventually identified a suspect and placed him under arrest when he came back to the library on the 10th of April.
The day before his arrest, CAL FIRE issued a photo recorded by a security camera of someone entering one of the bathrooms. They asked for the public's help in identifying him.
Let our university police know, let library security know, let one of the library staff know. That's specific to our library, but that actually translates across our campus.
Police and staff might have gotten it under control. One student expressed her concern.
As a student, it was very concerning because, it's like the campus's obligation to make us feel safe and to put our priorities first, especially with all the money that we be spending here. But yeah, it was just really concerning.
The suspect was booked on 4 counts of arson, according to the court records. A judge later placed him under house arrest at his parents' Dublin home. He was ordered to undergo psychological counseling.
At San Jose State with Update News, I'm Adrian Pareda.
As you may know from the primary election last month, the race in California's Congressional District 16 is heading to a runoff, or so we thought. It turns out there is a recount going on, and that will determine who exactly will be on the November ballot. Reporter Larry Larkin has the story.
In the final tabulation of primary election votes, something unprecedented happened in California's 16th congressional race. The second and third place finishers ended up in a tie. Incredibly, both Santa Clara County Supervisor Joe Simidian and Assemblyman Edmund Lowe each got 30,249 votes. Because there was a tie for second place, both will advance to the November election to face the top vote-getter, former San Jose Mayor Sam Liccardo. But now, another turn in this story. A recount is happening. That's because two voters, Dan Stedjink and Jonathan Padilla, a former Liccardo campaign staffer, requested a recount.
Any of the candidates or any voter in the district can request a recount.
How exactly will the recount work?
We are doing a machine recount, which involves scanning of the ballots and as we retrieve the ballots, they need to be counted again through our tabulation machines.
The retired incumbent, Representative Anna Eshu, is endorsing Simidian.
He's a very able legislator. He's a man of integrity.
We reached out to the three candidates, but only Simidian sent us a comment. He said, eventually this process will work itself out. My job is to stay focused on how I can best represent the folks in our district. The Santa Clara County Registrar's Office confirmed that Dan Stedjink withdrew his request for the recount. I reached out to San Mateo County and heard no further comment. In San Jose, Larry Larkin, Update News.
There's a lot that has taken place in the world in the past week. Reporter Andrew Hadley sat down to tell us more about the biggest headlines.
Welcome to this week's In the Loop, where I tell you things your parents definitely saw on the news that you should know about too. Iran launched a drone and missile attack at Israel this past weekend. Israel claims that 99% of these missiles were intercepted. Some did get through, and one severely injured a 7-year-old boy. Donald Trump went on a criminal trial Monday related to hush money payments before the 2016 election. This is the first time a former United States president has been on criminal trial. The trial is set to last 6 to 8 weeks. In Sydney, Australia, a bishop and a priest were stabbed in what's been called an alleged terrorist attack in a church. This caused a riot to ensue outside of the church, with another stabbing taking place in a Sydney mall Saturday afternoon. The incidents are not believed to be connected. A leaked memo by the news organization The Intercept showed that the New York Times has instructed journalists to restrict usage of terms genocide and ethnic cleansing when covering Israel's war. The memo leaked Monday also instructed reporters not to use the word Palestine except in very rare cases. Finally, in Vietnam, Trung My Lan was sentenced to death last Thursday in connection with one of the largest bank frauds the world has seen. The billionaire was convicted of embezzling more than $27 billion. Put in perspective, that is more than 6% of Vietnam's entire GDP. Well, that's what's been in the loop this week. Now, back to the desk.
When we come back.
And artificial intelligence is affecting the job market at large as students struggle to break into the work field. More to come.
Now, an event that has occurred for multiple decades every year in San Francisco has been canceled. That story. AI is in our everyday lives, so how has it impacted applying for jobs and how recruiters look at those applications? Reporter Alexis Marquez looks at that question.
AI is nothing new to job hiring. Let's look at what recruiters have noticed as job seekers start to use AI when they look for work.
There are many different ways AI plays a role in job applications and recruiting. It is used in generating ideas, formatting, summarization, cross-referencing, and more. Overall, many agree that AI is a time saver that helps many, but if used improperly, it becomes a problem. Although AI can be a tool to make people's life easier, it is important to maintain the human experience.
People need to have their own dignity and take responsibility in their own ideas and their own initiatives instead of depending AI, and think of AI as a useful tool, but not something to do your work for you.
Well, it can give you some ideas for what to say or how to position an accomplishment or experience. It still has to be true to you.
AI is a great tool if you let it be, but if it is abused, then there is a risk of losing what makes people special. Despite whether you use AI or not, it will be a part of the future.
To be an asset in the futures industry, you're going to have to understand AI and how it plays a role in your industry. So you don't necessarily have to use it right now, but you should understand how it's going to affect your future workspace.
Be aware of how you can use technology to help you grow and thrive. Live in San Jose, I'm Alexis Marquez, Update News.
Finding a job after completing school can be stressful, and it can be harder when students have already graduated. On campus, there are resources like the Career Center that can help students. I went to get more information.
SJSU's late spring 24 job and internship fair was held this week at the Student Union building. There were 40 employers from all industries. 800 students attended. For many students, the goal after completing their studies is to secure a job. However, the reality is often harsh, as finding employment can be a daunting challenge. Layoffs have been on the rise since last year, creating a competitive environment where fresh graduates find themselves competing for positions against seasoned professionals. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the current unemployment rate is at 3.8. More than 7,000 employees have been laid off in the month of March alone.
This is our late spring job and internship fair. It's our last career fair of the season. And this is an opportunity for students who are looking for career internship opportunities.
I hope to see what internships or what opportunities I can get from these organizations in the future.
Internship, as well as the graphic design job.
San Jose is doing everything it can to help students connect with employers, such as job fairs they organize throughout the year. These are sent to student emails, and some opportunities can be found on Handshake.
420 at Hippie Hill in San Francisco. It's a well-known tradition for Bay Area residents and cannabis enthusiasts from all over. But this year, there's no funding. Reporter Jillian Brown looked into where else people can blaze.
Every year on April 20th, thousands of people gather right here in the Sherman Meadow area of Golden Gate Park, also known as Hippie Hill.
The city of San Francisco has been funding 420 at Hippie Hill since 2017. This year, it wasn't in the budget. And event organizers did not receive enough private funding to keep it running. Some say it won't stop people from showing up.
I'm sure people will still show up, and it's probably just their own thing. I'm sure drums will be out here, and people will be selling stuff, I'm sure.
420 at Hippie Hill posted this statement on their Instagram and website, urging people to check out other events and support local dispensaries.
We're hoping for a little bit more foot traffic, maybe less people going up to the city, since they know that there's not going to be a sponsored event.
Luckily, there are plenty of places throughout the Bay that are setting up to celebrate 420 in different ways. Here in San Jose, Poorhouse Bistro in Little Italy is having a 420-themed blues night.
420 Smoking the Blues, go figure, and it's our harmonica extravaganza.
And Urban Leaf Harborside Dispensary is holding an event with music, food trucks, and all things cannabis.
We're also going to have a graffiti artist here, so a live action graffiti artist. People will be able to take pictures after the mural is painted, but just something to highlight the Bay Area and the San Jose community.
Smoking outside, I'm sure, but inside, the only thing it'll be smoking is those harmonicas.
In San Jose, Jillian Brown, Update News.
The sun is shining. Let's check in with Alejandra Vaca for what the weather's like this week.
Hi, this is Alejandra Vaca with your 7-day forecast. So this is what you can expect for the next 5 days. At last, after many wet weekends, we are finally going to start moving into some warmer temperatures. For a while, we are going to have inland 70s and then some wet weather, but that's only going to stay in the north. So the high pressure building in should keep the storms to the north with warmer temperatures midweek, and it's going to extend into the weekend. So you might get some ocean breeze in the hills and maybe like in San Francisco and in Santa Cruz. And for the 7-day forecast, we should see some 70s near Santa Cruz as temperatures warm up ahead, along with some coastal clouds at times with some mid-60s into Santa Cruz. And bayside temperatures near Oakland should climb into the 70s as well with partly cloudy skies. And in San Francisco, temperatures should be warmer for San Francisco too, with areas of low clouds and a slightly ocean breeze with some little bit of fog. And in San Jose will see a jump in temperatures with some 80s possible at times. Then as we start to cool down into next weekend, we might see some rain chances starting in Tuesday, but for now, as you can see, it's going to be 70s into 80s, and then it starts to drop back down to high 70s, and then Mondays should be clear skies. So that is it for your 7-day forecast. Back to the desk.
Here's what's next when we come back. Looking for some cheap fast food? You may have to look harder, as In-N-Out will be raising its prices. Coming up.
And we've got the latest highlights on Spartan tennis, baseball, softball. Stay tuned.
San Jose State's spring athletic seasons are in full swing. Here's an update on how it's going. Heading to the courts, the Lady Spartans celebrated Senior Day with a 4-0 win over Utah State. The team won the doubles competition from contributions from the pairs of Rosalina Yusova and Daru Durgan and Jovana Babic and Carolina Milan. In singles competition, Irina Muridian and Daru Durgan scored, with Jovana Babic closing the match out for the Spartans. The program honored Irina Muridian, Rosalina Yusova, Jovana Babic, and Carolina Milan. In softball, the Lady Spartans faced off against their CSU rival, the San Diego State Aztecs. They went winless, going 0-3 in their matchups. In the first game, the Spartans got mercy ruled, losing 14-1 in 5 innings. The next game was another losing effort, 2-1. To end their weekend, the Spartans lost grasp of the lead in the final game, losing 9-8. In baseball, the team headed to SEC country to face off against number 1 Arkansas in a 2-game series. The Spartans went winless, 5-1 in the first game and 8-2 in the second game. Their road trip continued in Reno in a Mountain West series against the Nevada Wolfpack. In a pivotal series, the Spartans lost 2-1. The first game ended 18-4, the second 11-8, and the third, in a successful fashion, 6-3. That's all this week for sports.
In-N-Out could increase its prices due to minimum wage going to $20 an hour in the fast food restaurants, which could affect the price increase of the popular burger chain.
In-N-Out could increase prices after California voted to increase minimum wage to $20, which has increased many fast food chains to increase prices to make the profit for their fast food restaurant.
I think that they should not increase their prices. They're making lots of money, and they should give a fair wage to the people, especially the people that are working in San Francisco.
I wish Massachusetts would raise their minimum wage. I feel like, minimum wage was originally made so you could support a family, but it's not like that anymore. So I think it's a good thing for it being increased.
Many states and cities in the U.S. have seen a big increase in prices and minimum wage, but especially the city of San Francisco.
I feel that increasing prices in other parts of California makes sense because due to other cities being way less expensive and more expensive in comparison to other houses, I feel that it's justable for the minimum wage in order for other people to live in their community.
President of In-N-Out, Lindsay Snyder, says she will try to keep the prices the same to keep the food chain affordable. In San Jose, Ivan Moreno, Update News.
San Jose Mineta International Airport is celebrating its 75th anniversary with something unusual, a giant inflatable chick. Here's the backstory. The very first commercial flight to land at SJSU had 2 pilots, 7 passengers, and surprisingly, 2,500 baby chicks. In honor of this adorable first landing, the airport has decorated itself with chicks of all shapes and sizes. There's even a competition to win some free merch. To enter, take a picture with any baby chick in the airport and upload it to social media with the hashtags SJC75 and pick with a baby chick.
We're coming up on the second weekend of Coachella. Reporter Vincent Rupena set out to campus to see people's favorite performers at the festival.
In my opinion, the best Coachella performance is going to have to be Sublime. I went to Coachella, and my favorite set from the weekend was ISO back-to-back Knock 2. They threw down.
I say it was Sublime with Rome. When they played Santeria, which was the closing song, I think that was the best performance that they had. That or Janae Aiko.
I would probably say Ice Spice was the best artist there.
Everything Always.
I think the best Coachella performance was Lana Del Rey. Personal opinion, but I am so excited to see her because I'm actually going this weekend.
I think either Doja Cat or Lana Del Rey.
I think Tyler, the Creator. I think the best Coachella performance was Lana Del Rey.
My favorite performance was ISO and Knock 2's collab set, but out of pure production, I would say Tyler, the Creator.
I think the best Coachella performance was Tyler, the Creator.
I gotta say Lil Yachty. She brought up Mac DeMarco, and then Caribou, she went crazy on her little freestyle.
Tyler, the Creator.
Lana Del Rey, hashtag Lanachella, Lil Uzi Vert.
I think the best Coachella artist was Peso Pluma.
And that does it for this week's edition of Update News.
For all of us here, thanks for joining us and see you next week. Remember to follow us on our socials at SJSU Update News.